Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching, and welcome to Monday's edition of the dceu Daily. It's Monday. We're all locked in our rooms via a lockdown, in our homes. It's Cyprus. The weather outside is beautiful, and Monday's dceu Daily via Big Mouth will deliver to you. So if you're feeling charitable, please smash the subscribe button. Nobody ever does. Please smash the like button. Some of you do. Thank you very much. And follow me on Twitter at MoviesTVMag. But now, here's Zack Snyder.
You know what? I think they should make a sequel to this movie someday. That would be amazing. That would really be something else. Yeah, I want to know what happens to these guys. I mean, don't they eventually, I don't know, form some... You know what?
Oh, you know what, Zach? You're hilarious. This guy is a master tactician. Right, so yesterday, he did a frame-by-frame director's commentary for Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice via Vero. Vero, here's a complaint from me because nobody else is going to say anything because they're too intimidated and too scared because they think they're going to be disloyal to Zack. That's not who I am. That's not what I am. But let's be absolutely clear here. I was there 2 or 3 minutes before. There was no link. There was no one live video active at the top of the feed like we were promised. And we only got that like half an hour to an hour in. And when I went on there, it was pausing. It didn't work. And if it wasn't for some brilliant fan putting it up on YouTube, I wouldn't have seen any of it. So I was kicked out, in and out of this, like, consistently throughout the whole kind of stream, right? So all in all, I watched an hour of a 3 hour and 12 minute stream, right? And that's really, really disappointing for me. I know Zack wants to support Vero. This would have been brilliant for Vero. It had a lot of views. I get it, right? But at the end of the day, it should have been on Vero, but it should have been on Twitter. And Zack should have created a special Instagram account as well to do it live. Because Instagram Live's pretty awesome as well, right? So he could have done that. These are reliable social media platforms, right? Look, but despite that, I thought it was really, really good. I really, really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed myself watching it. It was such a brilliant event. And so many things to unpack. Like the moment he said, literally he says this, when Superman and Doomsday are killing each other, right? Sorry, I've got something in my eyes, so I'm blinking like a madman. But basically, when Superman and Doomsday are killing each other, Zack said this during the commentary, when Superman screams, he awakes the mother boxes on Earth. Are you freaking killing me? Are you kidding me? That's amazing. That's brilliant. And there's so much more to unpackage because he said a lot, as he does. So I got the thing out my eye, and basically we're going to read a few Screen Rant articles about the 3 hour director's commentary, shot by shot from Zack Snyder yesterday. Listen, it was an unprecedented event. It was a beautiful event. So I've already discussed about Superman screams waking up the boom tube, and there is an article about that, which I'll get into a little bit later. But this is the first one. Even Zack Snyder doesn't fully understand Batman v Superman's nightmare sequence. Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice featured a confusing nightmare scene that even director Zack Snyder doesn't fully understand. The nascent DC extended universe was heavily shaped by auteur Zack Snyder, and it proved deeply divisive. The sheer scale of the division is perfectly indicated by Batman v Superman's performance on review aggregate site Rotten Tomatoes. The film has a critic score of just 28%, but an audience score of 68%. Yes, and it's the audience scores. I mean, it's not reliable. None of these aggregators are reliable. But I definitely believe the 68% over the 28%. A lot of people like this movie. And forget critics. They're not real movie fans. They're not. They're just in it for the popularity and the fame and the money. One of the more confusing moments saw Batman experience a mysterious vision in which he glimpsed the dark future. According to Snyder, Batman is seeing a future timeline in which Superman had lost his beloved Lois Lane and had become susceptible to Darkseid's anti-life equation. This evil Superman became a tyrant, conquering Earth and In startling twist, Batman awoke to find Flash projecting himself from the future into the Batcave. It was all very confusing. To what extent was Batman dreaming, and to what extent was he being granted a vision by a time-travelling Flash? Zack Snyder has been doing a commentary live stream for Batman v Superman on Vero, and as part of that he's admitted even he isn't entirely sure what's going on in the nightmare scene. As he noted, Bruce Wayne is waiting for some files to decrypt at the time, so he falls asleep. Maybe Snyder observes, I'm not sure, could be a consequence of Flash running on the cosmic treadmill and creating a rift. Could be a combination of those things. So I repeat, I'm not sure, could be a consequence of the Flash running on the cosmic treadmill and creating a rift. Could be a combination of those things. Yes, I think it's definitely the Flash that's made him see this vision. There's no question. It's not an actual nightmare or a dream. It's something that's been projected thanks to the Flash. Flash's innate connection to the Speed Force potentially allows him to travel in time, although in the comics he tends to use a device called the Cosmic Treadmill to help him build up enough speed. Snyder is clearly alluding to this idea, confirming that Batman is supposed to have experienced an actual future timeline. That's right. The Flash of his future was reaching out to him in an attempt to rewrite history. Unfortunately, even Snyder now admits he isn't quite sure how this was happening, explaining why general viewers were confused by the scene. No doubt Snyder would have eventually settled on an idea as he continued his story, which was intended to explore this nightmare timeline. Unfortunately, the nightmare scene is now best understand as sort of a cinematic relic, part of a storyline that will never happen. I'll get to this, don't worry. Warner Brothers lost confidence in Snyder's vision for the DCEU in large part because of the critical reception of Batman v Superman, and they pivoted in a different direction. Although Snyder originally remained in charge of Justice League, he left partway through production after a family tragedy was replaced by Joss Whedon. I hate when they put the family tragedy thing in. Not that I'm not totally sympathetic to what Zack and Deb went through. And by the way, great to see Deb during the stream as well. Brilliant woman. Really got a lot of time for her. But you know, that's not the reason he actually really left the project. So stop it. Anyway, Snyder's plan was forgotten, and as a result, the nightmare scene is now even more confusing, a signpost to a destination that will never be reached. Right, before we carry on with other articles, I need to get to this. Do you really think that Zack Snyder doesn't understand his own nightmare sequence? Of course he does. You know why he's not saying anything about that? Because it's something connected to his cut of Justice League, and he doesn't want to spoil that. He doesn't want to go into that. Of course Zack Snyder knows what his nightmare sequence is. And I never found that thing confusing. The nightmare sequence for me is one of the most stunning sequences in motion picture history. And it's obvious. We're in a future timeline. It's obvious, right? And it's obvious that this would have been continued in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Exactly what he's also confirmed on Vero in the past. So you may be confused, Screen Rant, but I and the rest of us fans certainly are not. Yeah, unfortunately, because I only got to listen to an hour of this awesome stream, and I do, sometime this week, it's on YouTube. The whole stream's on YouTube, by the way, so you don't want to wait for Vero to put it on, and even if they do, by the way, you probably won't be able to click onto it because of the traffic. Vero can't handle it. It's as simple as that. Anyway, right, there's another article here. Early Wonder Woman concert from Zack Snyder featured the Crimean War. Not World War I. Is that the Civil War they mean? Anyway, the Crimean War. What is the Crimean War? Anyway, part of the stream I missed. Thanks for that, Vero. Zack Snyder's early concept for Wonder Woman's Gal Gadot origins in Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice featured a Crimean War instead of World War I. Snyder's second DCEU flick was released 4 years ago and brought together 3 of DC's biggest characters. While most of the action centered on the brewing battle between Batman, Ben Affleck and Superman, Henry Cavill, the film also introduced Gadot's Wonder Woman and set the foundation for 2017's Justice League. Batman v Superman was received poorly by critics. Why do they always have to mention it's boring? But it still became a financial success and found some support in fans. Some. Do you understand how big our movement is? How big Zack's DCEU fans are? It's not some fans. There's millions of fans around the world who are devastated that Zack was pushed off this brilliant 5-movie arc project. And you know, we talk about a 5-movie arc. Don't think that was the end of his ideas. He would have gone on with a new story, right? Heartbreaking. Just seeing the end yesterday of the stream and just seeing how he was robbed, Deb was robbed, and how we were robbed is something I can never get over. And that's why I know you won't stop fighting for Snyder's vision, and neither will I. Anyway, Wonder Woman next appeared in her own solo film in 2017, which depicted her origin story. In it, Dinah left her home of Themyscira and ventured into the world of men, alongside Steve Trevor, Chris Pine, in order to stop Ares, the god of war, David Wheelis. This plunged her right into the middle of World War I, something that had been hinted at in Batman v Superman, when Batman came across an old photo of her from that time. According to Snyder, however, that wasn't the original plan. To commemorate the 4-year anniversary of Batman v Superman, Snyder hosted a live stream commentary on his Vero account and offered more insight into the making of the heavily debated film. On the topic of Wonder Woman's past, Snyder revealed via Stephen M. Colbert he initially based Dinah's backstory in the Crimean War because it was the first conflict where photography was used. Interesting. The American Civil War was also considered. I thought I heard him say something about the Civil War. Right, this is Stephen M. Colbert. He just paused the movie because he thinks he got disconnected. Right, before we shot the Wonder Woman scene for the movie, we shot a placeholder. We had shot it previously from the Crimean War because it was the first conflict where photography was used. We talked about using the Civil War. Thank you, Stephen M. Colbert, for that. He explained he wanted to make sure Bruce found a photograph instead of a painting to show how Diana hasn't aged, hence choosing the Crimean War. This occurred before Wonder Woman was written. When it finally was and revealed Diana was part of World War I, Snyder changed the photo for Batman v Superman, setting Diana's past all the way back in the 1800s. Certainly would have highlighted her immortality, but it would have deprived fans of the excellent No Man's Land sequence from Wonder Woman. Well, it actually wouldn't, because you just set up, it's still a war, right? It's still a war, so she can walk through a bunch of people shooting her, and you can still have Patty's brilliant directing, right? So you don't lose anything. Okay. Dinah will next be seen in Wonder Woman 1984. Can't wait for this film, which was recently moved from June release to August. This time around, Dinah will be in the 1980s, though she'll still be aided by Steve. When it comes to Snyder, he's continued to tease the infamous Snyder Cut of Justice League, which fans are still eagerly campaigning for. It's unclear if Zack Snyder's Justice League will ever make its way out into the world, but at least fans can rewatch Batman v Superman with new commentary from Snyder himself. It's a good point that the commentary has given us a new way of looking at it, right? So absolutely fantastic. And these little kind of nice little nuggets that Zack's been giving out are beautiful. I think this is one of the reasons we wanted this. I don't actually think there is a director's commentary on the Blu-rays. I've never looked for one. If you could comment down below and let me know. But this was brilliant. He was sitting in his home cinema, at home, obviously. And as I said, Deb turned up. I love Deb. So, I love these people as a couple and as family. They adopt children. They're very charitable. They're nice people. And it's always the nice ones. It always breaks my heart. Even if I didn't like Batman v Superman and Man of Steel, even if I wasn't a DC fan, even if I wasn't an admirer of Zack's work, I'd look at that man and his wife and just think, wow, you've lost so much, but you are so more human than most people that have it all and have never experienced loss. To think that these people are so strong and brave and that Zack and Deb are still fighting for what's right. Because what happened to them with Justice League was so extremely wrong. And it was so emotional for me to see them together and joking. That sequence when Clark brings the flowers and Deb's going, oh, he's just bringing flowers to his girl. And he goes, well, I do that all the time. And he was joking about being more buff than Henry. Just a lovely couple and just a great experience to see that live stream, absolutely. The big debate of Batman v Superman when it was first released was kind of disassembling the characters. And I think people were saying, do we want to see Batman and Superman kind of ripped, taken apart and put to their knees so they can rise again? This is the problem, is that some people just want to see Batman and Superman being Batman and Superman in terms of just saving people, being cool, and that's it. But this film was accused of being too serious and taking itself too serious. But I think it was a really good narrative to see the disassemblement of Batman and Superman and then see them rise so high as they stand there with Wonder Woman and battle Doomsday and Lex Luthor. I think this is why it's such a special movie. Anyway, right, Killer Batman, DCEU backlash mocked by Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder mocks the backlash about Ben Affleck's Batman killing during Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. It has been over 4 years since Snyder's second entry in the DCEU extended universe hit theatres, but the conversation surrounding Batman v Superman has not died down. Not only is this because of the 4-year anniversary of the film's release of Snyder's passionate fan base, but also because the movie proved to be very divisive. As a result, a number of decisions have continued to be debated online. One of the biggest topics of discussion at the time of Batman v Superman released and now was how the film handled Batman. While Affleck's older Batman is a fan favourite, many took issue with the fact that he killed bad guys during the movie. Last year's Snyder stance on the issue drew a lot of attention as he explained why his heroes aren't innocent and by necessity has his versions of classic DC heroes killed. His viewpoint was as controversial as his original decision and has kept Batman's killing a significant Batman v Superman talking point. After several online viewing parties for the film, in time for 4-year anniversary, Snyder decided to host his own and provide a live commentary to the Ultimate Edition of Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. Since Snyder is fully aware of the discourse surrounding the film, he did not shy away from discussing that Batman kills, but did so in a joking manner. For those who didn't watch or listen to the commentary, some of his comments can be seen in the tweets below. I'm sure these guys are fine, that's what he said, when they're getting killed. He shouldn't have pulled that grenade. That's his fault. Yeah, I think I did see that bit. Hilarious. He's just mocking people. Because, you know what? Like he said at SnyderCon, wake the fuck up. This is real life. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of escapism. I love escapism. I love escaping from the real world. But there's nothing wrong with making Batman and Superman relatable to the world that we live in and having them not be so pure. I mean, Superman isn't a bad guy. They're saying, the haters say that Superman's a bad guy in BVS. He absolutely isn't. And neither is Batman. He's becoming that. He's becoming that. But that's why the Martha scene's so important, because that wakes him up. Wake the fuck up, Batman, you see? Batman killing people was a recurring theme of Snyder's commentary, with him joking about how the bad guys Batman killed aren't actually dead, or that it wasn't his fault. During the car chase with some of Lex Luthor's goons, Snyder joked that all the people inside the cars Batman destroyed or shot with the Batmobile are totally fine, and that they should have shot the scenes of them crawling out of their vehicles to make that clear. Meanwhile, in Batman's epic warehouse fight scene against more of Lex's men, that's when Snyder said that the death of one guy was his fault for pulling a grenade that Batman used against him. It isn't surprising to see Snyder not back off how he views his version of Batman. And many have continued to defend Batman's actions. One explanation that works within the themes of the film is that Batman in Batman v Superman has lost his way, which he has, which is why he'd do something he wouldn't normally do, like killing. There have also been countless fans who have pointed out that Batman has killed on several occasions in the comics. Of course, there was just as many Batman fans who don't believe he should cross that line, since this is an issue that most have strong feelings about. Batman killing is a likely topic that will continue to be at the centrepiece of Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice legacy. And what a legacy! What a legacy! I've never been triggered about Batman killing. In fact, I think it suits his persona. I like that bit in Batman Begins when he says to Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul, I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you. Literally, Batman, you've left him in that tram. You've killed him because you could have saved him, right? You killed him, and that's fine. I don't mind cause or effect. I don't mind Batman being responsible for deaths of bad people. Now, we can go down this line of saying, well, no one's really bad, and, you know, they could be whatever, right? They can go to jail and become better people. Look, when you're in a battle, right? When you're a soldier at war, you can't stand there saying, I'm just going to shoot you in the leg, right? You've got to do whatever it takes to survive and win the battle for your army, for your soldiers, for your teammates, right? So it's the same for Batman. He's at war. He's got no time to try and save someone's life. who's trying to kill him. And it's totally illogical for me, for people to get upset about that issue. Here's another article talking about what Zack was doing and talking about in yesterday's groundbreaking historical stream for BVS. Wonder Woman leads BVS Trinity because she's more experienced, says Snyder. Yeah, I did watch this part of the stream and I thought this was totally logical and had no issue with Wonder Woman standing in front. Superman has the powers, but he's had very little experience and no training. Batman has been around for years. He knows how to fight, but this is an alien creature with powers. Batman stands no chance. Wonder Woman's already saved his life. So it's absolutely, one of the things I always wondered, I've fought creatures from other worlds before. We haven't seen that yet, have we? I wonder if we'll ever see it. And I wonder if we'll see it in Wonder Woman 1984. It would be nice to see that one day because she really does intrigue you when she says that. Zack Snyder, who directed Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, explains why Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman took the Trinity's leading spot as only the second movie in the DCEU. Batman v Superman introduced fans to both Gadot's character and Ben Affleck's version of Batman. Following the film, Gadot went on to star in 2017's Wonder Woman, which was both a commercial and critical success. It showed Diana Prince's origin story during World War I, including her upbringing on Themyscira. The end of the film saw Wonder Woman battling Ares, a fight she ultimately won. Just about, but she did win it. Following Wonder Woman, Gadot returned for Justice League, which Snyder also directed after personal circumstances led Snyder to step away from this film. Joss Whedon came into the finish. However, Whedon's completed project was different from Snyder's original vision, leading to rumours of a Snyder cut. Blah, blah, blah. Snyder confirmed the cut's existence last year and has since provided photos, video and storyboards from scenes missing in the final version of Justice League. Snyder continued to offer behind-the-scenes details by live-streaming a director's commentary of Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. One particularly noteworthy shot in Batman v Superman shows Wonder Woman in front of the titular heroes, leading the charge. Now, Snyder reveals there was a specific reason for that. Wonder Woman has more experience. During his commentary, Snyder further acknowledged that Superman has gone up against Zod, but Wonder Woman has fought monsters. The moment has been dubbed the Trinity shot and remains a fan favourite. In this live stream, Snyder shared several never-before-heard tidbits about not only Batman v Superman, but also his overall vision for the DCEU. Though there was no way to know all the time, the Trinity shot is also a reflection of Wonder Woman's popularity in the DCU. She returned for another... No, she's not more popular than Batman and Superman. I love Wonder Woman and I love Gal as Superman. I'd say they're all just as popular as each other, but to say she's more popular than Batman and Superman and that's why she's in front, shut up. Just shut up. Anyway. Right, so Wonder Woman's popularity in DCU. She'll return for another solo film, Wonder Woman 84 in August. And in addition, Gadot starring again, Chris Pine will be back as well. Though his character Steve Trevor died in the first film, director Patty Jenkins hasn't yet revealed how he returns, but many assume it will involve Pedro Pascal's Maxwell Lord. I do know. Wonder Woman 84 will also see Kristen Wiig make her debut as eventual villain Cheetah, though the upcoming movie was originally slated for June, blah, blah, we don't care about that. Snyder's reasoning for Wonder Woman's location within the Trinity makes a lot of sense, as she's been fighting villains and monsters since the early 1900s. She has far more experience than both Batman and Superman. It's also a way for those characters to show their respect for Wonder Woman's power. They recognise she's the best one to lead the fight. Snyder's explanation makes a key scene in Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice even more effective. I kind of never questioned this. I never questioned this. She has every reason to be in front. She is amazing. Because don't forget, the Diana we see in the Wonder Woman film isn't the Diana we see in BVS. You know, Wonder Woman in BVS is very similar to Batman. She's very, very, war weary. She's battle weary. But she kind of walked away from mankind. So when she's fighting Doomsday, and Zack mentioned this as well, and he likes this, and I like this. At 1 minute when he throws her on the floor, Doomsday throws her on the floor, she smiles. She knows this is a terrible situation, but she's missed the fight. She's happy to be in the battle again. And for me, that's awesome. So yeah, this is the one about the mother boxes. Justice League Superman's death in BVS awakened the mother boxes. I never knew this, and I really wish they'd actually put that in the film, because here's the thing, and this is one of the complaints about Zack's films, and you know how much I love Zack and his films. there's not enough kind of explanation in layman's terms sometimes for the slower view. I mean, it's not very. It actually is. Let me correct myself there. It's important that Superman's scream wakes up the mother boxes. Now, I'm assuming, the only thing before I take back my criticism, I'm assuming in Zack Snyder's Justice League, we re-see that fight a little bit because there's probably a recap kind of thing. We hear him scream and we probably see the added scene of the mother boxes awaking, which is really cool. New details about the nature of the mother boxes in Justice League emerged during Zack Snyder's live stream commentary of Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. Snyder announced the Vero live stream the night before as part of a 4-year commemoration. I can't say the bloody word, can I? I can normally read that word. I don't know what's wrong with me. Of the release of the film. Let's call it the celebration of the release of the film. With the event marking Snyder's first audio commentary for the movie, as tends to be the case with Snyder's DC film today, the topic of the Justice League Snyder Cut was the ever-present elephant in the room, popped up a few times during the live stream. The polarised reception to Batman v Superman would leave Warner Brothers in a state of trepidation regarding the direction Justice League was heading, despite the movie having always been positioned as a lighter in tone than its predecessor. Ultimately, following Snyder's departure from the film in May 2017, Warner Brothers commissioned extensive reshoots that would completely remold Justice League from Snyder's original plan. Since the movie's theatrical debut in November 2017, cries for the Snyder Cut have remained persistent, and cast members like Jason Momoa getting into the mix, and Snyder himself trickling out details of his version of the movie on social media. During his Vero live stream commentary for Batman v Superman, Snyder revealed Superman's death in battle against Doomsday awakened the 3 mother boxes hidden on Earth, stating, if you really wanted to wake up a mother box, you would do it like this. Snyder further elaborated that Superman's final scream at the moment of his and Doomsday's death was essentially echoed far enough away from Earth that it brought the mother boxes to life. In addition to an image previously released for Snyder showing Superman's death from a different perspective, captioned with the words, he has yet to rise. This can now be added to the many changes the reshoots made to Snyder's Justice League. Don't forget, Snyder's vision is there. Not the crazy idea, not the original crazy idea. Well, not all of it. Some of it was shot, actually. But most of his vision is there. So nothing's gone. We just have to keep fighting. Though the mother boxes are still very central to the plot, the theatrical incarnation of Justice League, there's nothing in the movie to indicate that they were awakened by Superman's death or anything else. Furthermore, Superman's scream carries with it the clear sound of an echo. Snyder is well known for his attention to detail as a filmmaker, and his new revelation about Superman's death now makes clear this was more than a choice of aesthetics for Batman v Superman's take on the death of Superman. Over the past 2 years, Snyder has revealed an astonishing amount of material demonstrating the differences between the 2 versions of Justice League, mostly in image and storyboard form on social media, with 214 minutes worth of content to pull from. His latest revelation shows that a virtual bottomless pit of teasers remains for the world to see. This newest reveal regarding the role of Superman's death in awakening the mother boxes just illustrates how much planning Snyder was doing for Justice League. It also shows that Batman v Superman played into the story of the Snyder Cut to an even greater extent that was already known. Wow. And again, you just feel even more hurt, don't you? The more Zack speaks, the more hurt I feel. And of course, as I say, he's a great tactician. He is fighting for this cut to be released. And he will keep on doing this. These big events, he will keep on doing them until he gets his way. He has got Warner Brothers cornered. And sooner or later, they will have to release this cut. Yes, this is part of the stream I didn't watch, but according to Screen Rant, live-action Dark Knight Returns movie could still be made, says Zack Snyder. It's interesting, isn't it? Because maybe his Snyder Cut is kind of that anyway. Look, this is how I see it, right? Because basically, The Dark Knight Returns is a graphic novel, a brilliant graphic novel. Now, Batman v Superman is literally inspired by that story. It's not copy and pasted, but it's inspired. You could even argue that Justice League is The Dark Knight Returns Part 2. During Zack Snyder's Batman v Superman live commentary watch party on Vero, he mentions that he believes the live-action The Dark Knight Returns movie could still be made. The BVS director held a watch party for the 4-year-old film on the social platform. While BVS may have been released years back, it's still a hot discussion topic in comic book movie world. BVS, let's just skip a few bits because I hate it. I don't see why they do it. They're literally kind of trying to keep up with a stream, reporting tidbits, and it's ridiculous. Throughout the years, actors from the movie and fans have been pushing for the release of the Snyder Cut. During the live stream hosted on Vero, Snyder also discussed the idea of a live-action The Dark Knight Returns movie and how he believes it can still be made. He stated he doesn't think Batman v Superman negates a possibility for a Dark Knight Returns live-action movie. Interesting. And someone could still make one. Snyder spoke about The Dark Knight Returns because he drew heavy inspiration from the comic book miniseries written by Frank Miller for Batman v Superman. The Dark Knight Returns is widely considered to be one of the greatest Batman comics of all time. It put a grizzled older Batman from the centre and also famously depicted an epic showdown between Batman and Superman. Snyder borrowed elements from the comics for this movie. Many of the live-action Batman movies have drawn inspiration from the story up, as well, including Tim Burton's Batman, Joel Schumacher's Batman Forever, and Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. Despite all of these movies drawing inspiration from The Dark Knight Returns, all of these movies have still told unique Batman stories. The Dark Knight Rises was turned into an animated film, but a direct live-action retelling of the story will be something that hasn't been done before. It will be interesting to see which director would take the helm of the project and what elements they borrow from the source material. From what Snyder has said, it doesn't seem unlikely that he would be the one to take on this project. Well, that would be amazing. That would be freaking amazing, wouldn't it? Wow. And there's loads more stuff he said. I mean, one of the things I really appreciated was when he was talking about the apartment scene between Clark and Lois. And he says, I just want to represent a real couple because they're a real couple. And, you know, she's in the bath and he liked that. So all the talk about the grandiose kind of fights and CGI that Snyder does so well, he likes the little moments to be as important as the big moments. And I think the relationship between Clark and Lois, the romantic relationship, the love they have for each other, you do see it. You do see it here. And I think ultimately, one of the reasons he sacrifices himself is for Lois. Listen, if Doomsday isn't stopped at that moment, that's it. Now, people said at the time, why couldn't Wonder Woman just pick it up? That's not the point. Wonder Woman could have picked it up. But Clark had spent the whole film being discussed, being suspected. You know, Batman himself going after him. This is his world. This is my world. He wanted to pick up something that's poisonous to him and do his bit. And he did, and he knew he'd die. But he felt he had to. He truly thought he had to. And the whole build-up and the narrative of the film was that moment, was for that moment. And it truly was beautiful. And I'll tell you what else was beautiful. The whole streaming event yesterday. Just a shame that most of us, or some of us, couldn't really sit in there watching it for 3 hours because what I saw was absolutely fascinating. Please comment down below and talk to me about your experiences of the Batman v Superman live stream. It was certainly something special. And when I get a chance, I'm going to watch the whole thing while watching BVS in muted form. So then I'm kind of more clued up and we can talk about more things on here, which is the DCEU Daily. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll be back tomorrow for much more. See you again soon.